Okay. Approximately how much has litigation over the Greiner property cost in 2014?
That's not really a public comment from the floor, and I don't know offhand. I know that we'd have to research that to respond.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is that the Reichert zoning issue has been noted 5 times in the bills list in 2014. It showed up 10 times, and let's see, that was approximately $800 in 2014. It showed up 10 times in 2013, and we spent $13,000 on it back last year. Yet we've got this other issue of litigation with Greiner, which is never mentioned in the bills list for some reason. They even had a public hearing on it, and it doesn't show up as a bills list from last year. Is there some reason for that?
What's the Reichert issue? I'm familiar with that.
Hey, I've asked about that, and when I've asked about it in the past, I'm told I can't do that because it's active litigation.
Okay.
I'm not asking you about what the issue is. I'm asking about how much we spent on it.
Steve, you want to respond? I don't know the number.
I don't know the number offhand, and I mean, I'm certain that the number could be compiled, but I would echo what Ken said. This is public comment, not public, not inquiry into particular items. So I don't know that we have the ability or are prepared to answer that at this point.
Could we have an answer for the next meeting?
John, David, do you want on?
I think Steve just said it would be very hard to answer that. Interesting.
At this meeting?
At this meeting, is it something that we should be prepared to produce?
I don't think there's any reason why you can't answer that question at the next meeting.
I have a question though, Brian. Are you talking about the Greiner or the Reichert? And I'm not familiar with.
I'm asking you about the Greiner litigation because the Reichert litigation has been called out in the bills list as a separate item. The Greiner litigation has never been called out to the best of my knowledge in my review.
Okay. We'll have an answer for the next meeting, or before, if you give us your email address. We email it to you.
No.
Don't need to know it for 2 weeks?
What's that again?
You don't need to know it for 3 weeks, is that right?
Hey,
Okay.
at the next meeting is fine.
Okay.
Yes,
Sarah has a question.
The
Comment.
first one has to do with the further comment on that. Does it have to do that it hasn't been compiled and hit the bills list yet? If it come in as a bill, the information would have already been there for Brian. That's just a hypothesis. My comment was, Brian reminded me to ask you how many right-to-know requests we've gotten this year, and of them, how many came from Brian?
Thank you, Sarah.
I don't know, we'll have to research that too.
Could we have that information at the next meeting?
Okay. Hey, could I email that to you?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me back up. Brian, I want to be clear. Initially, you asked how much had been spent on the Greiner litigation in 2014.
Yes.
Is that your question?
I would like to know both for 2014 and for 2013.